morning. Thank you so much for being here. I'm San Diegans Mayor Todd Gloria. I'm joined this morning by our City Council President, Sean Rivera, City Council Member Stephen Whitburn, Deputy Chief Operating Officer Christina Peralta, joined by our Chief Operating Officer, Eric Dargan, our Sarah Jarman, who's the Director of the City's Homelessness Strategy Solutions Department, and members of her incredible team, as well as Stephen Snyder, President and CEO of the Fleet Science Center in Balboa Park, and leader of many of the institutions in Balboa Park, and as you see, a number of our civic leaders from our city's crown jewel, where I was there with Councilmember yesterday morning, and it looked fantastic. We're here to talk to you today about the most pressing issue in our city, the issue of our homelessness crisis. I'd like to welcome you to the great community of Barrio Logan and at this former Travelodge hotel site, where we will soon open a shelter for unhoused families. We're here today to highlight how this budget that I have proposed for the fiscal year starting on July the 1st continues the city's unwavering commitment to addressing the homelessness crisis. Now, budgets are unambiguous statements about priorities, and homelessness is the most difficult long-term challenge our city has faced in recent memory, and it is my top priority. My proposed Getting It Done budget for fiscal year 2024 reflects that. As I mentioned previously, this budget is focused largely on implementing the considerable investments that we have made in city services and infrastructure during the previous 2 years, with a few strategic allocations for new programs. In total, my Getting It Done proposed budget spends $78 million in the coming year on homelessness. This will continue operations and expand programs that we have made in previous years. During the past 2 years, we have expanded city's shelter capacity by nearly 70%. This has contributed to well more than 2,000 people in San Diego ending their homelessness through connections to permanent and long-term housing directly from city programs. My budget proposes adding $24.5 million in ongoing spending to maintain and operate the shelter capacity that we've added, and dedicates an additional $5 million to do even more. This includes the launch of the city's Safe Sleeping Program, which will provide safe, legal places for people to sleep in tents without blocking sidewalks. And today I'm pleased to announce that the first location for our Safe Sleeping Program will be at the city's Central Operations Station located at 20th and B. I'm also announcing that a second site will be in Balboa Park at the site currently known as the O-Lot, which is near the Naval Hospital. Like all of our shelters, these sites will be operated by an organization that provides a full slate of supportive services, with the ultimate goal of helping people to get back on their feet and moved into long-term housing. We anticipate being able to have 20th and B up and operational in the month of July, and O-Lot to become operational in the fall. I want to take this moment to be very clear about the timing and process of bringing about the Safe Sleeping Program. We are moving this program forward in tandem with the unsafe camping ordinance proposed by City Council Member Stephen Whitburn. This ordinance, which is anticipated to go before the City Council in June, would ban homeless encampments in public places if a shelter bed is available, and in certain sensitive places at all times, regardless of shelter capacity. Those sensitive locations can include things like our canyons, our parks, our schools, other sensitive sites. Neighborhoods like this one, Barrio Logan, stand to see a marked reduction in encampments given the shelter and the nearby schools in this community. What we will make clear in this ordinance is that people cannot have tent encampments when we have a place for them to go. No will not be an acceptable answer. When the taxpayers of this city are spending tens of millions of dollars on homelessness services to get people off the streets and into care, we should expect those on the streets to avail themselves of those opportunities. Because the bottom line is this: the street is not a home, and neither are our parks, our canyons, or the San Diego River. Now, as we do the work to get people off the street and into care and on a path to ending their homelessness, we continue to do the work of keeping our streets and sidewalks clean. So, to continue addressing the impacts of street homelessness on our neighborhoods, we're adding $1.4 million to support new positions and vehicles for waste removal from the public rights-of-way in areas heavily impacted by encampments. Shout out to Renee Robertson from our Environmental Services Department Director, who's fantastic. She and her crews have been regularly cleaning sidewalks in these communities since last fall, and to date, they have removed 516 tons of trash and debris. I want to say that one more time. 516 tons of trash and debris from the public right-of-way. For context, that's more than the weight of the Statue of Liberty by 2. All of this funding is being deployed as a part of the City of San Diego's comprehensive strategy to address homelessness in our city. This strategy includes coordinated street outreach, more and diversified shelter options for seniors, for women, for folks with acute behavioral health challenges, and soon families right here in Barrio Logan. Prevention efforts like the tenant protection ordinance that passed the City Council in April with the incredible leadership of our council president, and working with state leaders to make it easier for severely mentally ill people to get the help that they need, and strengthening our response to the fentanyl crisis harming so many of our unsheltered population and undermining our efforts to get these folks into care. This includes sponsoring laws to hold those who deal this deadly poison accountable. At the end of the day, what ends homelessness is a home. And so our comprehensive strategy includes measures to make it easier to build more housing. To date, we have unveiled 2 housing action packages containing 20 unique policy reforms. These reforms have captured the attention of Sacramento, where we have been designated one of the few cities in the state of California that are considered a pro-housing city. Also a part of this strategy is our forthcoming application of home key dollars from the state of California. In the coming weeks, working collaboratively with the San Diego Housing Commission and our partners at the County of San Diego, we will apply for funding necessary to purchase multiple properties that can house hundreds of people currently experiencing homelessness in our city. And we can do that very quickly if granted the funding. So shout out to our friends in Sacramento. Watch for that application coming soon. Our goal is to have a program that is available to address the diverse needs of the unsheltered people in our community and get them on a path to ending their homelessness. My Getting It Done budget will help us progress towards that important goal. And I can't do it without strong partners in doing that. And first up to the podium is one of those key partners. I mentioned his leadership on the tenant protection ordinance that will help ensure fewer people who get evicted from their homes end up homeless was absolutely historic and critical. I'm grateful to have his partnership in this effort to address this most vexing of issues in our city council president, Sean Rivera. Council President?
Thank you, Mayor Gloria. Thank you, everyone else, for being here this morning. Again, I'm Council President Sean Rivera, proudly represent San Diego's 9th Council District. As the mayor said, we know that housing is the solution to our homelessness crisis. That is what we need most. Unfortunately, we're not going to build the housing we need overnight. I would love to stand here and tell you that we are moving all of our city's homeless residents into permanent homes, but that cannot happen with the snap of a finger. And people continue to fall into homelessness at a faster rate than we can find homes for them. However, our city is investing in responses and solutions to that crisis, trying to tackle it from every angle possible, whether it's preventing people from falling into homelessness through our Housing Instability Prevention Fund or the Tenant Protection Ordinance, responding to the crisis with the incredible work that Renee and her team do, or some of what we're seeing here today, both at the Travel Lodge and the announcement of the safe camping sites. Temporary non-congregate shelters like this hotel are a critical step in the transition to finding permanent housing. I know firsthand what a difference it can make from moving from a car into a hotel room. The stabilizing effect that a place that is truly not meant to be lived in, the stabilizing effect that can happen when you move from a place that's not meant to be lived in, whether that is a tent or a car, and into the safety and stability of a site like this one. I also want to recognize the incredible work that Councilmember Whitburn has done to be persistent in advocating for the expansion, the addition of safe camping sites to our city's array of options for people experiencing homelessness. There is nothing that gets done on homelessness without incredible dedication and persistence. And Councilmember Whitburn has shown that in terms of continuously looking for sites for a safe camping site. And he's done that despite significant opposition from various neighborhoods, and that persistence should be applauded, as well as the mayor's. I am very excited for what can come from the addition of safe camping sites. I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Comiskey from the Balboa Park Cultural Partnership. We met about a month ago, and the Cultural Partnership had some concerns about one of the proposed sites. And I made it very clear to Mr. Comiskey that on this problem of homelessness, we can't just hear no. If you say no to something, you better be offering an alternative. And the cultural partnership did a great job of doing the homework and providing some different options. And I think we're seeing some of those roll out. And I mention that because it's not just the cultural partnership that needs to do that. It's our neighbors in every neighborhood of San Diego, and it's the other cities in San Diego as well. We're standing here in Barrio Logan, across the bay from a city that has lied and said that they've solved homelessness, and they have not. They've done nothing more than pretend like the problem doesn't exist in their city. That's not leadership. Leadership is doing the hard work to find sites, despite resistance, that will alleviate suffering and give folks a real path to a better life. So I hope that the reporters who are here today, once you finish reporting on this, you go to the various mayors across this region and you ask them what they are doing about homelessness. And if they tell you they've solved it in their city, press them because they are lying to you. Everybody owns part of the responsibility here. The city is doing our part. We need to do better. There's no doubt about that. We need to prevent homelessness better. We need to respond to homelessness better. We need to build homes better. But what should also be noted is nobody in this region is doing more than the city of San Diego to respond to this crisis. And until we all share our responsibility, whether that means Joe Citizen, who can contribute $5 to $10 to help a senior stay out of homelessness, or a city to actually providing the shelter options that their residents need, we will not get out of this problem as a region until that leadership is shown. So I want to applaud the mayor and Councilmember Whitburn for the leadership they've shown in continuously pressing for safe camping sites. I want to appreciate the city staff for the work that they've done to go out and do the work to make those sites viable. I'm excited about what can come next for San Diego, and I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the region stepping up and owning their part of the responsibility to alleviate the suffering throughout the region. With that, I will bring up Councilmember Whitburn.
Thank you, Council President. Good morning. I'm Stephen Whitburn. My council district includes downtown, which is particularly impacted by homelessness. Today's announcement that San Diego will open safe sleeping sites is an important milestone. It creates a new way to reduce street homelessness. Safe sleeping sites are a win-win for people who are homeless and for our neighborhoods. People living outdoors will have a safer, healthier alternative to living in encampments. Safe sleeping sites will have security and bathrooms and meals and connections to services. And as people move to safe sleeping sites, instead of living in tents on the sidewalks, it will improve the quality of life in our neighborhoods as well. I thank Mayor Gloria for his unprecedented efforts to reduce homelessness, as evidenced by the array of programs that are funded in this budget. By investing in the Safe Sleeping program, the mayor is ensuring that hundreds of people who are homeless will have an option that is safer and healthier than encampments on the streets. And I want to thank Council President Rivera for making it a priority of this City Council to address homelessness with a multifaceted approach that includes preventing homelessness, providing options for those who have become homeless, and ultimately creating the housing needed to ensure that everybody has a home. Today's announcement is an important step forward. I've been advocating for safe sleeping sites because I am confident they will help us, and my office has worked hard to get us to this point. I have spoken to a number of people who are tired of living in squalor on the sidewalk and who want to be in a better place, but who don't want to go into an enclosed shelter. They have told me they will happily move to a safe sleeping site with bathrooms and security and meals and services. I am proud that San Diego will be providing a safer and healthier option for our unsheltered population and improving our neighborhoods at the same time. And now I would like to introduce Deputy Chief Operating Officer Cristina Peralta, who oversees the Homelessness Strategies and Solutions Department and has been instrumental in selecting the sites for the new Safe Sleeping program. Cristina?
Thank you, Councilmember Whitburn. I'm honored to be here with you today on behalf of our operational departments, particularly our Homeless Strategies and Solutions team. I want to share with you that our operational teams are focused every day across all of our organization in finding ways that we can address and find solutions for the homelessness crisis facing our city. Our teams are committed to evaluating new locations for increasing our shelter capacity and to look at different types of shelter options based on the needs of our unhoused population. We recognize the sense of urgency that is needed to address this issue and to bring support to our most vulnerable residents in San Diego. We are grateful for our city workforce and their dedication to finding solutions and identifying new sources of funding to help us address this issue with an unprecedented amount of resources and attention. We are making sure that we leave no stone left unturned when it comes to increasing the capacity to serve those in need. We need to make sure that we avail ourselves to every opportunity to find solutions that will work and to help get people off the streets. And we are doing just that. We've already identified city facilities and properties that will be used as safe parking lots, shelters, and locations for safe sleeping programs. Our city staff are seeking every way to maximize every location that could potentially provide a refuge for those in need. Thank you so much, and now I'd love to introduce Dr. Stephen Snyder, President and CEO of the Fleet Science Center in Balboa Park.
Thank you, Christina. Good morning. As said, I'm Steve Snyder. I'm representing the Balboa Park Cultural Partnership, a collaboration of 25 arts, culture, history, and science organizations in Balboa Park. As you all know, Balboa Park is a beloved destination, whether you live in San Ysidro, Escondido, or anywhere in between. And whether you're coming for the natural beauty, architecture, recreational opportunities, or to visit the one-of-a-kind Balboa Park Cultural District, it's a truly unique resource for the city of San Diego and really the entire region. And we all know that our city and our region are facing a significant crisis with more of our fellow San Diegans experiencing homelessness. Now, this has a complex issue that demands a collaborative community response. As the council president said, this is not just the responsibility of government, it's not just the responsibility of business, the nonprofit sector, philanthropy. We have to come together to meet this challenge. And that's because we all have a role. That's why the directors of the Cultural Partnership are here to support the location of 2 safe camping sites in Balboa Park. I was mentioned, one at 20th and B, a second at Lot O. Now, repurposing these sites will allow the city to provide not just safe sleeping locations, but access to needed services and support to those San Diegans facing the challenges of homelessness. We'd like to thank Mayor Gloria for the open dialogue about selecting these sites and identifying how Balboa Park can help meet this important community need. Safe camping is a small but crucial part of the solution, and that's why we are very pleased to support the 2 locations in Balboa Park. This is an important step in the right direction, and we look forward to the additional solutions that will be necessary to serve the needs of all San Diegans. Thank you.
Steve, thank you for those comments, and thank you for being an example of what we need to see more of, which is a willingness to get to yes in terms of actual solutions to this problem. As our council president mentioned, too often folks get to say no, and there's no accountability around that. And there should be. A friendly reminder that the city of San Diego is home to 57% of our county's homelessness population and 85% of the county's shelter beds. Every community has to do its part to solve this particular issue. This city will do what we have to do to make sure that folks are in better, safer, and more hygienic situations than they currently may be. But that surely has to be the case in the 17 other cities in this county, as well as the unincorporated areas. I look forward to hearing more solutions from those other cities on how they're going to step up. They have hotels, they have parking lots, they have open places where camping may be possible. Lord knows they could change their zoning laws to increase for more housing opportunities, and the state's actually incentivizing that to be done. I hope that other folks will step up because this is not a city of San Diego problem. This is a region problem. This is a statewide problem. This is a national crisis. I'll be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow trying to press that particular issue on the administration to understand that we need federal help for this problem as well. With that, I'll remind you that these are an effort of shining a light on the proposed budget. The Homeless Strategies and Solutions Department's budget will be heard by the City Council tomorrow. This is an opportunity for members of the public to weigh in and share their feelings on what is proposed. I believe, Renee, your budget's this morning, is that right? So we're going to have to wrap this up and get you over, as well as the Council President and the Council Member. But with all sincerity, we want the public's input and feedback on how we are proposing this budget and what we can do to make sure that we make the most use of the taxpayer dollars that we're providing for all of these issues, but particularly this one. And reminder, the dollars I've mentioned earlier are in addition to the over $60 million that are in the city's Housing Commission budget for homelessness response, well over $100 million when it comes to addressing the needs of the unsheltered community. Again, that's why we believe with those kind of expenditures of taxpayer dollars, we do have an expectation for folks to utilize the services that are provided and to allow us to reclaim our public rights of way for the safety and security of every San Diegan, sheltered and unsheltered. With that, we're happy to break and we'll be available for one-on-ones. Thank you all very much for being here this morning.